Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone Roel. Peace and blessing salutations to the hopeful elect of Israel. Right? This lesson I'm going to get into revolving around, how you should be vexed with the wickedness in this place, and that you should stand up for what's right. Okay, because if you're in this truth, to the sincere Kaim, if you're in this truth and you're, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, you'll find that the world goes against you, okay, because the world is wicked, okay? A majority of the people are wicked, because remember, a very small remnant is going to get delivered, okay? A lot of people, even in the truth, apparently seem to forget that, all right? And I'm speaking on these other camps, which, ain't really got it, okay? They're not in the right spirit, but anyways, how you should be, well, because the thing is, if the current's going, to the left, and we're trying to swim to the right, of course it's going to be a challenge, man. Of course there's going to be adversity, okay? Of course there's going to be persecution, because we're fighting against the current or the wind, okay? We're fighting against that force that's pushing the opposite direction, okay? So this is going to be kind of a long lesson. Well, depending how quickly I read through it, but I'm just going to go with the spirit. Okay, so, yeah, out of one rafters out, this is edifying, right? I put together some precepts that I haven't really read before, or some of them. So I'm going to start in 1 Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 1. This is 1 Maccabees chapter 2, starting at verse 1. In those days arose Mattathias, the son of John, the son of Simeon, a priest of the sons of Joarib from Jerusalem, and dwelt in Modin. And he had 5 sons, Johanan, Salaki if I'm pronouncing any of these wrong, called Cadiz, Simon called Thasi, Judas who was called Maccabeus, Eleazar called Avaron, and Jonathan whose surname was Aphas. And when he saw the blasphemies that were committed in Judah, in Jerusalem, he said, Woe is me! Therefore was I born to see this misery of my people and of the holy city, and to dwell there, when it was delivered into the hand of the enemy, and the sanctuary into the hand of strangers. So, I know Akayam are living in all, sorts of places in the globe, because the planet is a sphere, right? For you fucking bug outs. But, anyways, I know Kayam are living all over the planet, in different countries. But, I'm speaking for America, because I live in America, which is Babylon the Great. And all you see on you brothers, if you go on social media like Instagram, you go on the Explorer page, all you see is faggots, man. Adultery. People eating abominable shit. It's vexing, man. It's really, sometimes it makes you just want to, just throw your phone, like in a lake or something, man. Just throw your phone all the way across the world and never see it again. You just never want to set foot anywhere, in this place, okay? Going in you brothers that live in the city, you probably see that stuff every day. You brothers that are still going to school, all that, you see it every day, man. You see these are women wearing these fucked up wigs, wearing fake nails, fake eyelashes, makeup, wearing all this bullshit. And then you see our people eating pork, fucking chowing that shit down willfully. You see people, You know, you see harlots, you see people committing adultery, hitting on another man's woman. You know, you see all this bullshit, and it's vexing. All right, and that's the spirit you should be in. You should be vexed. All right, you should hate this place, and you should hate wickedness. Okay. And if you don't hate wickedness, you don't have a problem with this place, you don't want 2/3 of our people to die because they're wicked, if you don't want America to be destroyed, then you're going to be destroyed with it. Okay? Because that means you're wicked yourself, man. So, continuing on. Her temple has become a man without glory. Her glorious vessels are carried away into captivity. Her infants are slain in the streets. Her young men with the sword of the enemy. See, that's another thing. You know, another vexing thing that we see. We see our own people kill each other every day, man. All right, and when I say my people, I'm not talking about just so-called Negroes. For all you other bug outs that believe that shit. All right, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans and confusion of faces are the true Israelites, and I hate seeing them kill each other, man. Okay. But I also hate seeing adulterers walk in the streets, you know, faggots walk in the streets, and they're not getting put to death. All right, I hate seeing that shit. And then another thing about you faggots, man, you took the glorious sign of Yahweh, the rainbow, which is a sign of the covenant. You know, you took that rainbow and you made it into some faggot symbol, man. Take that shit down. All right. Continuing on. Before I, you know, start ranting too much. Verse 10, what nation hath not had a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils? All her ornaments are taken away. Of a free woman she's become a bond slave. And behold, our sanctuary, even our beauty and our glory is laid waste, and the Gentiles have profaned it. So we used to be a great nation, man. When we were obedient to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, we were, you know, flourishing, man. Everybody was beautiful. Everybody was following the laws. Everybody was helping each other out. We were growing, man. We conquered our enemies. But now look at us. Now instead of conquering our enemies, we're trying to conquer our own brethren, man. We're hating on our own brethren. We're divided. That's no way to live, man. But it's a rightful judgment given to us for being disobedient, okay? Verse 12, and behold our sanctuary. I'm going to read again. And behold our sanctuary, even our beauty and our glory is laid waste, and the Gentiles have profaned it. To what end, therefore, shall we live any longer? Then Mattathias, and his sons rent their clothes and put on sackcloth and mourn very sore. So we're supposed to mourn from all this wickedness, man. From the vexing shit that we see every day. It says endure till the end for a reason, because we have to enduring the pain and the affliction, the nonsense, the wickedness, you know, even the physical persecution that we may face. All right, which after I'm done with First Maccabees chapter 2, I'm actually going to get into a little bit of persecution and how they, you know, stayed strong for Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Okay, so continuing on. Verse 15, in the meanwhile, the king's officers, such as compelled the people to revolt, came into the city Modin to make them sacrifice. And when many of Israel came unto them, Mattathias also and his sons came together. Then answered the king's officers and said to Mattathias on this wise, thou art a ruler and an honorable and great man in the city, and strengthened with sons and brethren. All right, so he was, you know, because he was a righteous man, having everybody follow in the ways of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Okay, well at the time Yahweh, because this is from the Old Testament, but you know, keep the laws. Okay, so they were trying to basically convince him to, because if he would break and he would, you know, I think they were trying to get them to sacrifice swine, which is the most abominable food in our law, basically, man. You know, and trust me, I know about that, because I'm going to share something real quick. Like I said, this is going to be a long lesson, man. All right. But, so I was here, and this devil that I live with, she brought ribs for me to eat, right? Well, actually, yeah. So she brought ribs. I chose to take the ribs, you know, because she told me that they are beef ribs. Because I don't know the difference. I've never had beef ribs and I haven't had pork ribs in a long time because I hate pork, man. No matter how good you may think it is, I would never eat it intentionally because it's abominable, okay? And I hate abomination. So, anyways, I asked over and over again. She kept saying it was pork. Beef. She said it was beef ribs, and she said that the guy said it was beef ribs. She asked for beef ribs, etc. Right? So I was sure in my mind that it was beef. So then my woman had me send her a picture of the bones, after I was already eating a good amount of them, and she said that they were pork bones. And I'm not boasting, but and I'm not, trying to make this like about me, because it's not about me, but I hate pork, okay? And I really thought those were beef ribs, so I got really mad, okay? I didn't do anything to her because I gotta be wise. I need to be wise with my choices, especially in these last days. Okay, so I like fucking threw my mattress topper thing off my mattress, onto the wall, and then I just like felt so shamed, and I had to lay down and just cover my face the whole time, man. I even shed some tears because that was I hate going off, man. All right, and the fact that she told me it was beef, and I believed it was beef because I didn't know the difference between the beef ribs, and I've never had beef ribs, and I told her I can't eat pork. She knows that, but she lied to me, man. All right, and that's vexing. All right, I hate going off, and I hate pork and all that bullshit. So I completely understand what's going on with this. Okay, so continuing on. But yeah, I seriously believe that was beef, but that just shows that you shouldn't believe the devil, okay? First Maccabees, chapter 2, continuing on. I'm going to read verse 17 again. Then answered the king's officers and said to Mattathias, on this wise, thou art a ruler and an honorable and great man in this city, and strengthened with sons and brethren. Now therefore come thou first and fulfill the king's commandment, like as all the heathen have done, yea, and the men of Judah also, and such as remain at Jerusalem. So shalt thou and thy house be in the number of the king's friends, and thou and thy children shall be honored with silver and gold and many rewards. So they're trying to bribe them into sacrificing swine. Okay. Then Mattathias answered and spake with a loud voice, though all the nations that are under the king's dominion obey him, and fall away every one from the religion of their fathers, and give consent to his commandments, yet will I and my sons and my brethren walk in the covenant of our fathers. Yahweh forbid that we should forsake the law and the ordinances. We will not hearken to the king's words to go from our religion, either on the right hand or the left. All right, and this is more of a heritage than a religion, okay? But even if you want to call this a religion, it's not for everybody. It's by blood, okay? It's not a privilege. I don't want to say it's necessarily a right or a privilege, okay? It's something, if you're not an Israelite, you can't be it, all right? You can't be a part of it. And it's mainly our heritage, our customs, right? This is how we live, all right? You can't just say, well, I'm an Israelite, I'm going to choose not to follow this, not to follow Yahweh Shem Shai. No, you can't do that, all right? You'll be shamed, and if you go off and you're a faggot and all that, we're going to kill you, man, all right? Or we would have killed you in the ancient days, all right? So this is more than a religion, but you understand where he's coming from, okay? It's an honor to be in this truth. So call Allah Yimla Yahweh Shema Shai for that. And out of one righteous that we're of the elect and continue to follow Yahweh Shema Shai. Okay? So continuing on. I'm going to read to verse 28. So now we're at it. I'm going to read 20. Yet will I and my sons and my brethren walk in the covenant of our fathers, Okay? Yahweh forbid that we should forsake the law and the ordinances. We will not hearken to the king's words to go from our religion, either on the right hand or the left. Now when he had left speaking these words, there came one of the Jews in the sight of all to sacrifice on the altar, which was at Modin, according to the king's commandment, which thing when Mattathias saw, he was inflamed with zeal, and his reins trembled. Neither could he forbear to shew his anger according to judgment, wherefore he ran and slew him upon the altar. So he ran up and killed him, man, because he was about to sacrifice swine. Also the king's commissioner, who compelled men to sacrifice, he killed at that time, and the altar he pulled down. Thus dealt he zealously for the law of Yahweh, like as Phinehas did unto Zambri the son of Salam. Once again, Salaki, if I'm mispronouncing any of these. And Mattathias cried throughout the city with a loud voice, saying, Whosoever is zealous of the law and maintaineth the covenant, let him follow me. So he and his sons fled into the mountains and left all that ever they had in the city. Okay? So they left everything to follow Yahweh's laws, man. Alright, the laws given to Moses. And then you see these fucking Christians, man, and all they do is break the law. You know, fuck you Christians, man. And then fuck all you bug-outs and especially you Israelites that choose to be wicked, man. Alright? May the Lord kill you. Alright? 2 Maccabees chapter 7 now. Remember, this is going more into persecution. I'm going to read verse 1 to 23. It came to pass also that 7 brethren with their mother were taken and compelled by the king against the law to taste swine's flesh. So here we go again with the most abominable shit, man. That's why when the devil told me that it was beef ribs, and you know, I kept asking, it was beef ribs. I'm like, okay, so I believed that it was beef. And when I found out it was pork, right, you better believe, man, that if Yahweh didn't keep the composure on me, I would be the only one living in this house right now. Okay? And I'm not trying to sound tough or hardcore. Okay? That's not at all it. Okay? But like I said, I hate seeing people willfully sin. Alright? And she's a devil. So I already hate devils. Okay? So that's just adding more to the fire when the time comes. If you brothers have watched my... If you kind of watched my previous videos, I've talked about some things, you know, regarding visions and dreams and such, okay? Well, at least I believe I did. All right, so I'm gonna start over. It came to pass also that 7 brethren with their mother were taken and compelled by the king against the law to taste swine's flesh, and were tormented with scourges and whips. All right, so they were being beat, so they'd you know, taste that abominable flesh. Okay? But one of them that spake first said thus, What wouldest thou ask or learn of us? We are ready to die, we are ready to die, rather than to transgress the laws of our fathers. That's the spirit you need to be in, man. Alright, period. And especially when it comes to the time of the mark of the beast, alright, which is that RFID chip. They're gonna, you know, beat you, scourge you with whips, you know, all of that, and threaten to kill you, and probably will kill you if you don't take it. But fuck it, man. All right, fuck it. Take death. All right, because don't take that shit, man. Don't go off. All right, it's not worth it. Nothing abominable, and there's no benefit of being wicked, man, in the long run. Okay, you know, if you worship these false gods, you may feel like you're getting blessed. You're getting blessed by demons, man, evil spirits. If you were righteous in this world, you'd be facing and catching hell, man. You wouldn't be fucking, you know, rising up to the top, worrying about, you know, I want to get this and that job. You can have a job, man. You can try to, you know, get up there in money. But you need to focus on this truth, man. We're almost out of here. You can see that those doors of mercy are closing, so you don't have much longer, man. All right? Verse 3. Then the king, being in a rage, commanded pans and cauldrons to be made hot, which forthwith, being heated, he commanded to cut out the tongue of him that spake first, and to cut off the uttermost parts of his body, and the rest of his brethren and his mother looking on. Now when he was thus maimed in all his members, he commanded him, being yet alive, to be brought to the fire, and to be fried in the pan. And as the vapor of the pan was for a good space dispersed, they exhorted one another with the mother to die manfully, saying thus, The Lord Yahweh looketh upon us, and in truth hath comfort in us, as Moses in his song, which witnessed to their faces, declared, saying, And he shall be comforted in his servants. So when the first was dead after this manner, they brought the second to make him a mocking stock, so they laughed at him. And when they had pulled off the skin of his head with the hair, they asked him, wilt thou eat, before thou be punished throughout every member of thy body? But he answered and said in his own language, and said, No. Wherefore he also received the next torment in order as the former did. And when he was at the last gasp, he said, Thou like a fury takest us out of this present life, but the King of the world shall raise us up, who have died for his laws unto everlasting life. Remember, the first that die first in Yahweh Shai HaMashiach will be risen up. All right? Or I mean, the people that die in Yahweh Shai, so like the martyrs, the martyrs of the elect, they'll be risen up first, not the first that die. Salakia. I made a mistake. Which I make mistakes. We all make mistakes, But we need to make sure that we don't let those mistakes hold us down. We need to just, if we make a mistake, we go off on an accident, we need to repent. We need to keep pushing, man. All right? Seek Yahweh by Shema Shai 10 times harder. All right? And don't necessarily take that literally, like if you're doing, this many videos a week, do 10 times that. No. Okay? But it just means, go with more compassion. All right? You fall, you get back up, man. All right? Righteous men fall, but they get up. That's the difference. Now, and reincarnation, so you're going to come back anyways, man. But, verse 9. Verse 10. After him was the third man in mocking stock, and when he was required, he put out his tongue, and that right soon, holding forth his hands manfully, and said courageously, These I had from heaven, and for his laws I despised them, and from him I hope to receive them again, insomuch that the king and they that were with him marveled at the young man's courage, for that he nothing regarded the pains. Now when this man was dead also, they tormented and mangled the fourth in like manner. So when he was ready to die, he said thus, It is good, being put to death by men, to look for hope from Yahweh to be raised up again by him. As for thee, thou shalt have no resurrection to life. Afterward they brought the fifth also and mangled him. Then looked he unto the king and said, Thou hast power over men, thou art corruptible, thou doest what thou wilt. Yet think not that our nation is forsaken of Yahweh, but abide a while, and behold his great power, how he will torment thee and thy seed. Reincarnation, man. But also, they know that you other nations are going into slavery and going to be punished for what you did, especially you Edomites. Okay? After him also they brought the sixth, who being ready to die said, Be not deceived without cause, for we suffer these things for ourselves, having sinned against our power, which is Yahweh. Therefore marvelous things are done unto us. Okay, because they accept their judgment. All right, they accept their cup. All right, they accept their judgment cup, man. Just like you devils, you heathens, you're gonna accept your cup, man, whether you want it or not. All right, you shall drink and you shall swallow down. That's from Obadiah, chapter 1, 15 to 16, I think. But the whole book of Obadiah, which is one chapter, is the Bible and the scriptures are all amazing. But the book of Obadiah, definitely read that if you've never read it. All right. Verse 19. But think not thou that takest in hand to strive against Yahweh, that thou shalt escape unpunished. All right. I'm going to read verse 23. But the mother was marvelous above all and worthy of honorable memory. For when she saw her 7 sons slain within the space of 1 day, she bare it with a good courage, because of the hope that she had in the Lord. Yea, she exhorted every one of them in her own language, filled with courageous spirits, and stirred up her womanish thoughts with a manly stomach. She said unto them, I cannot tell how ye came into my womb, for I neither gave you breath nor life, neither was it I that formed the members of every one of you, but doubtless the Creator of the world, who formed the generation of man and found out the beginning of all things, will also of his own mercy give you breath and life again, as ye now regard not your own self for his law's sake. All right, so that's a righteous mindset, man, of the 7 sons and the mother. Okay, so we may have to die for this truth, man, but the proof is in the pudding, man. We will be rewarded for remaining in the path, in the straight gate, trying to follow righteousness. All right, 2 Peter chapter 2, This is 2 Peter chapter 2, I'm going to read verse 5 to 9. And spare not the old world, but saved Noah, the 8th person, a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly, and turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow, making them an ensample unto those that after should live ungodly, and delivered just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. For that righteous man dwelling among them, in seeing and hearing, vexed his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds. The Lord knoweth how to deliver the ungodly out of temptations, and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished. Okay? So you need to have trust and faith in Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. If you are following that straight gate, you're going down that straight path. You're getting persecuted. You're trying to be righteous. All right, you're chasing righteousness. You're trying to, you're going out teaching the word on the highways and byways. You're making YouTube videos. You're keeping the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability. Okay, if you're doing all these things, then you need to have trust and faith in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua that you will be delivered, regardless of what's going on, regardless of the famines, the pestilence, the earthquakes, floods, and the nuclear missiles, all right? Because the righteous will scarcely be saved, which actually I'm going to get that at the end because I got a couple more yet. So now I'm going to turn to Ezekiel chapter 9. Whoops. This is Ezekiel chapter 9, verse 4. And Yahweh said unto him, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem. Jerusalem is a people before it's a place. And set a mark. Now this mark is a spiritual mark. This mark is for the elect. All right, this is the mark that's going to be put on the elect, the mark exempt from judgment. Okay, but listen. Well, hopefully you've been listening this whole time, but, take heed to this right here. And set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. All right, I'm going to continue on. And to the others he said in mine hearing, Go ye after him through the city and smite. Let not your ears spare, neither let not your eyes spare, neither have ye pity. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary. Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house. And he said unto them, Defile the house and fill the courts with the slain. Go ye forth. And they went forth and slew in the city. And it came to pass while they were slaying them, and I was left, that I fell upon my face and cried and said, Ah, Lord Yahweh, wilt thou destroy all the residue of Israel in thy pouring out of thy fury upon Jerusalem? Then said he unto me, The iniquity of the house of Israel and Judah is exceeding great, and the land is full of blood, and the city is full of perverseness. Salakia. For they say, Yahweh hath forsaken the earth, and Yahweh seeth not. And as for me also, mine eyes shall not spare, neither will I have pity, but I will recompense their way upon their head. Okay, and this is a thing that's coming. All right, so don't be quick to say, well, that already happened. Okay, even if it did happen, which I'm sure it could have happened many times, right? Judgment goes out every morning, right? The Lord brings judgment every day, okay? But that's also a future thing, because remember, the fishers will turn into hunters, okay? Psalms 55. Psalms 55 and 11. Wickedness is in the midst thereof, deceit and guile depart not from her streets. Okay, you see wickedness all over the damn place, man. Okay, all over. I'm going to get Psalms 139. Psalms 139, 18 to 24. And if I should count them, they are more in number than the sand. When I awake, I am still with thee. Surely thou wilt slay the wicked, O Yahweh. Depart from me, therefore, ye bloody men. For they speak against thee wickedly, and thine enemies take thy name in vain. Do not I hate them, O Yahweh, that hate thee? And am I not grieved with those that rise up against thee? I hate them with perfect hatred. I count them mine enemies. Search me, O Yahweh, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts. And see if there be any wicked way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. All right. So now I'm going to get some final scriptures here to close out. So yeah, out of one right to the other, this has been edifying so far, and hopefully it will continue to be that way. I'm going to go to 1 Peter chapter 4. Verse 17 to 18. For the time is come that judgment must begin at the house of Yahweh. And if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of Yahweh? And if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear? So the righteous are going to be saved split second, man. All right, so where are you that don't obey the gospel? Where are you going to appear? You're not. All right, you're going to get destroyed. Okay. So with that said, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakak, Wadash, double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone of Ruel. Peace and blessing salutations to the hopeful elect of Israel. All right, continue to push in the faith, and yeah, push the word. Okay, continue striving for righteousness. All right, and also abad babal. All right, shalom.